Instagram. I wish you guys were back. Unfortunately, in today's cancel culture, there's no way you'd last. People suck. I don't know about that. I think we last, but I don't. I just don't want to do it. I have no desire to do it. We almost got through a live stream without mentioning a reunion. We almost did it, and I guess that's my fault. I didn't have to read that comment. That's my fault. I'm gonna take the L on that one today. Josh. Wow. Jesus, Josh. Oh, how did you feel around 2017-ish when the subreddit collectively realized you were the good guy and Jim and Anthony were shitheads? Wow. I I never went on I never went on any Reddit boards. I knew I knew they were really tough and rough on me. I'm not stupid. I knew some of that shit did hit my radar, but in general, I never, ever went there. I think I always just wanted balance. When people think about the old Opie and Anthony show, that's all I ever wanted was balance. Not trying to sit here and say I was a great guy and didn't bring my bullshit to the table, but there was a time there that I took the brunt of a lot of the hate, and a lot of people around me skated, and that always really bothered me, and I didn't think that was fair. So I hope that answers your question. I just wanted balance as people look back. Oh, Ope did this. Oh, Jimmy did this and did this. Because there was enough blame to go around for sure, man. A lot of blame. I'll leave you with this. I never wanted to be the boss, and somehow I went against my own gut. I got into radio because when I was a kid in my room with a weird household, it was an escape. I was able to tune in radio shows, and it would definitely take you to another place. And I really loved the medium. I fell in love with it as a kid, and and I also had a dad that was unbelievable, that really encouraged me to do something very different. He said, "Look, you're gonna be doing a career or a job for a very long time. So make sure you enjoy what you do." And I also knew that a suit and tie wasn't for me. I knew like basic white collar jobs weren't for me. Although some of those blue collar jobs, they spoke to me. When you can change the scenery every single day. I know it has its downs, obviously, but I would have went blue collar over white collar as far as jobs in general go. But long story short, I never wanted to be the boss. I never wanted a regular job. I never wanted to sit in a cubicle and just rot away. And I'm sorry to the people out there that I just described your life, and I'm not looking down upon you. I'm just telling my story. And then you fast forward, because how it happened was when Anthony came aboard, I was the one with all the radio knowledge. So naturally, it made sense for me to kind of take the lead. And next thing you know, I seg into being a fucking boss. Exactly what I didn't want to do. All those years growing up, I made sure I was never going to have a real job and never be a boss. And in the end, sadly, and I'm not going woe is me here, I'm just being honest. Sadly, the Opie and Anthony show for me became a stupid job that I hated, and I was the boss. Fuck. And I did go to Anthony a few times on that, and he would push me off very quickly by saying like, but you love doing all that stuff. There was a time I did a million years ago when I was learning the business. But that got old quick. I didn't love any of it. I didn't love like having to hire people. I didn't love having to fire people. I fired most of the people. Whether it was me, well, but me and the bosses getting together. And those guys got to skate. So everyone that got fired from the show, guess who they blamed? They didn't blame anybody else. I hated that because I just did not want to be the fucking boss. And I never wanted it to turn into a job. But that's my own fault, because I should have just walked, because I wasn't happy anymore. I should have walked. So I got responsibility in that. but I was addicted to the money. I was addicted to the fame, and you know, and at that moment in time, I think my ego needed some work. I needed to crush that ego as best I could. So now, here we are. We're staring out a window, live streaming every day, and it's just fun for me. And every once in a while, some people throw me a few bucks, and that's good enough for me. Opie, that day, Anthony called into your show for the first time after you guys split. What was real reaction on and off air, Mike Anthony? I felt really, really weird. I was really confused because I really don't like Anthony at all. Maybe eventually that'll change. I have no idea. But and I was thinking about the Opie and Anthony brand. I was starting a new show in afternoons, and it made sense to take a call from him. And we had incredible chemistry. But then it reminded me of the times, for years, where we did have incredible chemistry, but we weren't even looking at each other and we weren't even talking. I remember really late in the Opie and Anthony show. This is just stupid, but so I liked it. I'll tell the other story in a second. I liked it, but I was very, very confused by it because nothing really changed. You know what I mean? There was a lot of bad blood there, but that call was pitch perfect. And then we did a few more calls, and then quickly it went back to extreme hate on his side. For no real reason, as we've discussed. I don't feel like rehashing that again today, maybe another day. But I remember late in the Opie and Anthony show, every day we would leave, and we had security, and we had the convenience. There were days where Club Soda Kenny would get our cars, and he would grab Anthony's car first. Because then Kenny would drive me home. That's how it kind of worked. And I remember we were standing on the sidewalk, and we were both kind of there next to each other. And we had nothing to talk about, literally nothing to talk about. And I remember how uncomfortable it was as we were waiting for our cars. For me, a ride home, and for him, his car. And I swear to you, he might remember this differently, but I remember we literally just started talking about the weather. And I remember thinking on the way home that day, wow, man, God, this has been a crazy ass ride. From the days when we first got together to do the radio show, where we were inseparable. We went to Boston, and not only did we do that afternoon drive show up there at the only station that really rocks, but we would spend hours on the phone every day with each other too. Hours. Because we both had weird relationships, and we knew the show was working, and he'd either call me or I would call him. And then we'd talk about all sorts of crazy shit that was going on in the news, or we'd watch dumb TV shows that were on during the day. And then, we'd go into work and we would just crush it. And then we'd hang out at the station afterwards for another hour or so, doing light production and whatever else was needed to be done. And then fast forward, we're on the sidewalk in New York City waiting for our cars, and we're just looking at each other awkwardly because we both had an understanding, less time in front of each other, the better. And we were pretty much talking about the weather or something very, very similar to that as we were waiting for our cars. But I think that's the nature of the beast. I think I said it yesterday, when you're married or in a business relationship or what have you, friendships, everyone changes. You just hope you change together in a way where it still makes sense.